Hello everyone, this is going to be a special video that is going to be about the new, well not new lab, but the lab Welcome to the Jungle, which has special rules, and I have a hyper optimized deck for it with 98% win rate over 150 games. I don't have all of them recorded on YouTube or anything. Some of them were streamed before, and it was months ago when the lab first came out, so the VOD is deleted by now. But I do have a recent stream, and I have uploaded it to YouTube, where if I lost a single game, I would end the stream. It lasted for 3.5 hours. I was 25-0, and then I called it a day. I will post it in the description below. If you want to reference that for any advice or anything like that, go ahead. But I'm going to go over the most basic game plan, and if you follow it, you should easily be able to attain maybe at least 80% win rate, assuming you don't face mirrors. Which you probably won't, because I'm not a big YouTuber. So, where did the win rate come from? Well, I have updated the game throughout the 150 games. I think that the deck is stronger than it ever was, and the win rate when the lab first came out, I had about 100 wins, maybe about 105 wins and two losses, and since the lab came out again, I have about 45 wins and 1 loss. So the first step of the plan of your game plan is to kill the raptor on turn 2. No, on turn 3. Now, if you can kill it on turn 2, that's all well and good. But if killing it on turn 2 means that you won't be able to kill it on turn 3, you need to be careful. And the reason for this is because if you kill it on turn 2, if you kill it on turn 2 but not on turn 3, then it will not spawn a Krug. It will only spawn a jungle camp at the start of the turn if you have not already, if the jungle camp is dead at the start of the round. So there, I knew that my opponent actually probably had Troll Chant and he would save the raptor. However, I also knew, for example, that if they were gonna save it, they were gonna save it on turn 2 instead of turn 3, and now I'm gonna be able to kill it on turn 3. If my opponent knew my precise game plan, he might have saved it, so that, and prevented me from killing it turn 2. Oh, turn 3. He actually does manage to prevent me from killing turn 3 as well, which I didn't expect. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to achieve our game plan perfectly, but you have to be ready for divergence. And the key here is that my opponent has played 2 cards and 4 mana. He's not killing my raptor, and all of that is just to prevent me from killing his raptor. So the result is still overall acceptable, and it's not going to be a big deal. Because after all, the key is that he's not killing my raptor, so all that's happening is the game is being slowed down, but I'm not gonna, it's not a position in which I'm gonna lose, for example. As a result of it. If that makes sense, right? He's slowing my game plan, but he's also slowing his game plan. So now the key is that when you kill the raptor, you always want to pick the buff. Well, the first time, you want at least 1 raptor buff. This is important, and this is because a lot of our units have 5 attack, and what we want to do is turn that into 6 attack, because the Krug has 6 attack, and we want to kill the Krugs. So the simple and short goal of the game is to get 1 buff from raptors and 2 ramp from Krugs. Because if we can do that, kill raptor on turn 3, kill Krug on turn 4, and kill Krug on turn 5, that will mean that we can play Asol on turn 6. That's the idea, at least. So in this position, we have the option to either stun this and allow him to elixir. I'm going to allow him to elixir my elixir the Krug and save the Krug. Because again, I don't think it's bad. He's gonna have 3 cards, so again, it's gonna delay our game plan, but not in a way that loses us the game. So it's still a safe play. So of course, as you know, Spell Thief is for stealing our opponent's jungle spells. And in case you haven't played the lab before, the jungle spells can either buff all of the units in your hand and deck, it can give you 1 ramp and 1 draw, or it can summon a raptor, which is a 3/4. The Krug one is a little bit different. It's 2+2+2, 2 draw, 2 ramp, 2 draw, and then summon a Krug, which is a 4/6, and heal your Nexus for 3. Now, of course, from the Krug, we want to pick the ramp almost every time. Now, if we already ramped twice and reached 10 mana, and we have Aesol in hand, then we start picking the buffs. Otherwise, you can pretty much almost always keep picking the ramp. So in this position, it's actually okay for me to pick the buff, assuming that I ramp using my opponent. Assuming my opponent kills my raptor and ramps, then I can steal his ramp, and then if I draw Aesol from that card, then he can, for example, we can take the buffs. But first we have to see if we draw Aesol, because if we don't draw Aesol, then the buffs aren't very important. So now we might not need Aesol to win, but if we don't need Aesol to win, drawing the cards doesn't hurt. We're gonna win anyway, whether or not we do that. Oh, I forgot about the tough. That's, whoops, it's okay. We'll just do this and kill his Scar Mother. So now I'm giving my opponent the opportunity to play this, so I can Spell Thief it before I play this. If he doesn't, I'll just pick the ramp. Okay. But now it gives me the opportunity to top deck Aesol and therefore play buffs instead. Okay, I didn't, so I'm gonna take the draw. Again, like, we might not draw Aesol, but the draw doesn't hurt. We don't need the buffs to win without Aesol. It's just that Aesol is the priority. Now we found Aesol, and the important thing is that we need to make sure Aesol levels on the turn we play it. This isn't absolutely mandatory, but you don't want to allow your opponent to prevent the Aesol level without working for it. If your opponent works to prevent the Aesol level, then it's still a win. So it's not a big deal, but you need to make your opponent work for it. So we're not going to take a lot of aggressive blocks if it means that our units are going to die. And when playing Aesol, you always pick Living Legends, and then second you pick the Scourge, and third you pick Supernova. If you don't have any of these, then I guess Great Beyond or whatever, or Immortal Fire, or whatever biggest. But I've always had Supernova, Living Legends, or Scourge, and this is because you assume that Aesol is leveled. Now, as long as you follow these guidelines, pretty much, you're going to win most of your games. So I'm gonna post the deck code in the description below. I do literally have 98% win rate over 150 games with it, and the deck has gotten better over the course of the game. The most recent version, when I finally realized I forgot about Spell Thief when I was building the deck. The current version only has about 10 games with it. I should probably even have 3 Brothers Bond, maybe even cut a Pale Cascade. I do like the cycle from Pale Cascade. Brothers Bond is very good. So I wouldn't say that it's 100% optimal, but I would say that at most I would change the numbers on 1 or 2 cards. I wouldn't change more than maybe 28, 2 or 3 cards at most. So I think 37 or 38 is optimal. Actually, Iron Ballista is a bit weak in this deck, so maybe we can cut an Iron Ballista for Brothers Bond, but it is important to have units. So for now, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching. Give the deck a shot. I promise you'll win the games as long as you follow the guidelines. You might not have 98%, but you will have a very high win rate compared to your other decks.